Voting is a civic duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Inhabitants of some major towns of Cameroon complain that fields of death has been engulfing their neighborhoods lately. That is, from Douala to Bafsam, in Yaoundé and also in Bamenda, the situation is just the same. We will be presenting to you the filthy states of some towns, major towns of Cameroon in this edition of the news. Plus, it is the rainy season and businesses flourishing around gadgets which are mostly used during the rainy season, such as umbrellas, rain boots, among others. Our reporters were at some markets here in the economic capital Douala. We will be telling you more also in this news edition. Stay with us. Hi there to you all viewers. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. We begin right away in Idea, in the Sanaga Maritime Division of the Littoral Region, where an alleged highway robber has been apprehended by elements of the company Gendarmerie Brigade in Idea during the presentation of the alleged bandit whose name we got as Emmanuel. Commander Bakari Hamadou said the suspect might be a runaway separatist fighter from either the northwest or the southwest regions. Let's now have more with Manjikan Gabriel.
It is the end of the road for an alleged stone thrower on vehicles on the National Road number 3, arrested in an operation that was conducted by the elements of the company Gendarmerie Brigade in Idea. As they ran away after seeing the vehicle of the Gendarmerie, they left behind their motorcycle, stones and machetes alongside their playing cards. We then made an intervention where we arrested a certain Dom Emmanuel from Wum in the crisis hit Northwest region, who might be a separatist fighter who has decided to come destabilize Idea. In the course of the operation that led to the arrest of Emmanuel, the elements of the Gendarmerie also retrieved a commercial motorcycle, machetes, and playing cards which they used in distracting themselves. Threats are in different forms, but within Sanaga Maritime Division, we record often attacks within villages, and we are fighting to see how to stop that too. At the Esplanade of the company Gendarmerie Brigade of Idea, the senior divisional officer of the Sanaga Maritime Division says the tactic they used paid off. For some time now, the situation is not alarming, but just some isolated cases we've recorded. But the thieves thought we were tired, not knowing it was our decision to keep watch. It's after some changes were made that the elements of the Gendarmerie in Idea within 48 hours descended to the field from Sikum to Douala to arrest this suspect. He is now assuring other suspects that will be arrested that the law won't spare any of them. I'm using this opportunity to tell the men of the underworld that they will always have it hot when caught, and justice will do its work. We remain determined day and night for security to reign in the Sanaga Maritime Division. The suspects arrested will be presented to the justice system for law to take its course.
The north region of the country, insecurity has also been on a rise lately. Another alleged bandit was arrested by gendarmes in Marwa. Cedric Chakuto tells us that he was apprehended in possession of several motorcycles and other objects.
Insecurity is one of the many challenges that have been rampant in the far north region of Cameroon. Bike riders of the area have been complaining on the stealing of their motorcycles. Many of the bike riders have lost their lives after they were attacked by bandits. I was attacked last week around Amayo Government School at around 7 p.m.
en me posant des questions que je leur remets tout ce que j'ai en main.
They removed a knife asking me to give all I had on me. I did not fight with them. All I did was to give them all they asked.
Et je les ai remis, on m'a laissé partir.
Faced with the rise of violence, the inhabitants forwarded complaints to the forces of law and order, who, in collaboration with the population, discovered the criminal network involved in the trafficking of commercial motorcycles and illicit drugs.
Une fois de plus, je veux dire merci à la population qui, comme d'habitude,
once again, I wish to thank the population who, as usual, helped us in these investigations.
Et de vente des motos dans la ville et parfois hors de la ville au profit des terroristes.
Supervised by Colonel Joseph Désiré, commander of the Legion in the Far North region, investigations were done and led to the arrest of Abdulaziz Hayatu, who was caught with 7 motorbikes and several motorcycle spare parts. We went to the scene and we could seize 7 motorcycles, and after that we wrote a communique asking people who lost their bikes to come and get them. The collaboration between the forces of law and order and the population has enabled the inhabitants of the Far North region to have quiet nights.
Over to the West region in Banjul, a student aged 19 has lost his life during a landslide which occurred while he was working on a construction site. His name we got as Anaklet Kamga sat in for the baccalaureate examination this year, and he decided to find a temporary job before the unfortunate incident happened. Our reporter Luciliengu Isie visited their family residence in Banjul.
A tragic day for family members of 19-year-old Anaklet Kamga, residents of Boyom in Banjul, West Region. The baccalaureate candidate who sat in for the examinations this year lost his life while working in a construction site in the neighborhood. His grandmother explains the ground on the hill where they were working collapsed. Noticing that their friend did not have the same reflex, they rushed to the site in order to save him. Unfortunately, an athlete was already trapped in the ground. When they got to the site, they struggled in vain to save their friend. In the course of he died. His family wonder why the owner of the site will assign adolescents who are not trained to carry out the tasks, worst without any protective measure.
Le chantier n'était même pas sécurisé, il n'y a pas de grue pour le faire remonter en surface.
Depuis que l'enfant s'y. Anaklet's grandmother also regrets the fact that her grandchild has never been versed with the activity. But this year, he decided to find a temporary holiday job so as to generate income. The 19-year-old was rushed to the emergency ward of the Moor Protestant Hospital, but medics reported that he had given up the ghost. The untimely death of the 19-year-old, a baccalaureate candidate, is a bitter pill for his family members to swallow. They remain inconsolable.
Sad indeed, may his soul rest in peace. Now we take you to Bamenda in the northwest region, where the local population there complain that the entire town is filthy, especially at the Aziri Old Church Junction. Now our northwest regional correspondent Bustela now tells us that the people are really living in filth.
Major streets and junction messed up with heap of garbage. This is Stramo neighborhood in the Douala 1 subdivision. The stench from the dump site is becoming unbearable as residents and economic operators say this has affected their daily activity. There are days we come here when our shop has been invaded by the waste. No way to get into our offices and work. It also scares away clients. We sometimes go for a month with the trash standing here. Trauma just like Dong Simbi in the Douala 3 subdivision. The situation is the same. The inhabitants accuse the waste management company for not living up to the expectation of the people. As you can see, the trash can is full. That is why we are forced to dump on the street. We wish Hizakam can deploy more people so they can get into remote quarters and clean this trash. Several neighborhoods in the city of Douala suffer from poor waste management, a great concern to the authorities to put in place measures to better handle the waste collection and disposal in the city of Douala.
That was Malagari reporting on the filthy nature of the city of Douala. Now in Banda, as I was telling you a while ago, the people are complaining of the dirty nature of the town, and Northwest Regional Correspondent Bustela went to the Asiri Old Church Junction and tells us that huge heaps of dirt are littered almost everywhere in that area.
The situation in Banda, particularly at the Aziri Old Church Junction, has reached alarming levels, with heaps of decomposing waste lining the streets, posing a significant health and environmental threat to the residents. Former government delegate Abembe was a better city manager. The city mayor is not quite doing his job. We cannot even eat. Everywhere is covered with flies.
It's almost 3 months today. We have carried the debt. I know that our sanitation office in the city council is concerned, they are already closed.
The proximity of this massive garbage pile to the Banda Regional Hospital is particularly concerning. Residents are resorting to desperate measures to protect themselves.
Anything here is too much, and I cannot do without face mask. So this face mask, at least it is helping, but the smell here is too much. I cannot do without face masks.
Are they around 70 years? I am about 70 years old. The odor I inhale from this decomposing garbage waste gets me sick. The waste management crisis in Banda follows the Northwest Regional launching of the National Clean City Contest.
In the last 2 years, we discovered that the highest population of Cameroon, about 15 million Cameroonians, are living in urban centers. And then the level of urbanization has increased, and that means that the level of waste has also increased. And for this increment in the waste management, the government wants to make Cameroonians to be responsible, to have civil responsibility of cleaning their city.
Men in Banda are now hoping the contest pushes the city council to take immediate actions to address the mounting garbage crisis before it escalates into a full-blown health emergency.
In other news, we told you in the headlines that the demand for umbrellas, rain boots and other gadgets mostly used during the rainy season is now on the rise, and traders are making brisk business. Our reporter Innocent Azez spoke with some vendors and also buyers in some markets here in the economic capital Douala, and now for us in this report.
With the persistent rainfall in the economic capital Douala, business persons and commuters, usually blocked at home, are compelled to find a solution to continue their activities unperturbed. Umbrellas, raincoats and boots constitute that solution. According to this commercial motorbike rider, he needs money and has no choice than to afford and install an umbrella on his bike like his colleagues. This permits him work without stopping, no matter the intensity of the rain. The bike umbrella and installation, he says, cost him about 10,000 francs CFA. In order to keep working, he was compelled to buy. During rainfall, commuters go for such motorbikes with an umbrella installed to reach their destinations protected. For traders, raincoat eases their activities than when holding an umbrella. It is difficult to sell holding an umbrella. With these, you sell without any problem. With an umbrella, the wind easily blows it off your hand and you are drenched at the same time. Whereas with the raincoat, I am well protected. During the rainy season, many persons invest in selling umbrellas, raincoats and boots since their demand is high.
Pour le moment, c'est plus les bensiquineux qui achètent. On vend le parapluie à partir de 1000 francs, 1500, 2000, 2500, 3000. Le pluie, il pleut, mais ça ne passe pas. C'est un peu dur.
Being a seasonal business, coupled with the high demand, some sellers sell at a high cost, believing commuters and bike riders cannot do without. These vendors also hope to maximize more profits when schools resume.
Cameroon, the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, is now ready for a fourth term in office, extending his 24-year leadership in the East African country. He got the lion's share of the votes that was on Monday. In the U.S., former President Donald Trump is on his way to becoming the next American president after the assassination attempt that was over the weekend. Details of this stories and more with Babila Jonathan.
Partial results of Rwanda's presidential election rank outgoing President Paul Kagame first with 99.15%, an overwhelming victory against opponents Frank Habineza and Philippe Mpayimana, who got less than 1% of the vote. This score thus confirms the extreme popularity of the 66-year-old Paul Kagame, the man who has been in power for 24 years. In Burundi, the remains of former President Pierre Buyoya is repatriated to his country. He died of COVID-19 in 2020 in the French capital city Paris, where he went for treatment. Due to a tense relationship with the regime in power at the time, he was buried in Bamako, Mali. He was twice president of Burundi from 1987 to 1993 and from 1996 to 2003. Kenyan police have arrested a man who they have described as a serial killer suspected to have masterminded the gruesome mutilated bodies were found in a disused quarry used as a rubbish dump. Police say 33-year-old Collins Jomaisi Kalusha confessed to having killed 42 women since 2022, including his wife. Lawmakers in the Gambia have rejected a bill seeking to overturn a 2015 ban on female genital mutilation. Speaker of Parliament Fabakary Tombong Jatta said a majority of members of Parliament had voted against the bill even before its third and final reading due later this month. Human rights groups and the United Nations had urged the members of Parliament to block the bill, which was introduced in March after pressure from some Muslim clerics.
Donald J. Trump.
In the United States, former President Donald Trump makes his first appearance after the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump was met with cheers during his appearance at the Republican National Convention just days after he survived an assassination attempt.
And now we talk sports. On our Olympic Games package tonight, we talk table tennis. Cameroon will have Sarah Hanfu Nana as their representative in the discipline. The best record of Sarah Hanfu Nana at the Olympic Games was crossing the preliminary stages in the year 2012. Many are now expecting Sarah Hanfu Nana to perform better than the previous editions. Who is Sarah Hanfu Nana? Sumanji Kangibril now tells us more about her.
By profession, with a French mother and a Cameroonian father, Sarah Hanfu Nana is one of the members of Team Cameroon at the Olympic Games in Paris, France. It was since 2010 that Sarah Hanfu Nana made the decision to represent Cameroon in the table tennis discipline, and since then, she has been the only Cameroonian athlete in that discipline. To better prepare herself for the upcoming Olympics, Sarah Hanfu Nana has been in training with top table tennis players, amongst them Audrey Zarif, defending champion of France. Sarah Hanfu Nana, noted for her powerful right hand, has been described as an athlete with exceptional qualities who could storm surprises at any given opportunity. In the early stages of her career, Sarah Hanfu Nana picked up many medals, amongst them a bronze medal during the European Youth Championship in cadet and junior categories in 2001 and 2003 respectively. In 2006, she became the vice champion of France alongside Zhang Yinfeng in the doubles event. After deciding to join Cameroon in 2010, she won the African Table Tennis Championship organized by Cameroon in the same year, and in 2019, she won the silver medal at the African Games. Her best performance at the Olympic Games was in 2012 when she crossed the preliminary stages to fall at the first round to her one-time partner Zhang Yinfeng. It will be Sarah Hanfu Nana's third appearance at the Summer Olympic Games, still without a medal.
Thanks much for that report. It brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Talking Points comes up next. Here with us. Welcome back, viewers. Tonight we'll be talking about the numerous road accidents or bloodshed on highways in Cameroon, and our guest tonight is Roland Defoe. Roland, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Now, I just mentioned a while ago that road accidents have been recurrent on highways in Cameroon, especially during this holiday period, and official statistics from the Ministry of Transport lately indicates that 3,000 cases of road accidents have been reported, with about 200 persons reportedly have lost their lives in those road accidents. That's just within 6 months from January to the month of July. As a Cameroonian now, does that give you cold chills down your spine?
Hey, Anastasia, thank you very much for inviting me over to your news program to be able to share on some of these issues which are very concerning to the Cameroonian population. Those are very harrowing numbers to see the number or count the number of persons that die due to road accidents. For anyone, those should be very frightening, definitely.
And now you have been making use of some highways here in Cameroon. You have seen drivers drive, how they do it. You have also noticed that most of our roads are narrow. What, according to you, can be some of the reasons or some of the causes of these recurrent road accidents in Cameroon lately?
Use of some of our roads, or a lot of our roads, because driving is sort of a passion for me, and so this aspect of road safety is very important. The narrow nature of roads is very concerning. If you're driving from Yaoundé to Douala within the current road, that is, I mean, keeping aside the autoroute, which is not yet completed, which ends just at Boumniebel. If you drive through the Yaoundé-Douala road, that's very, very concerning. The roads are very winding, and you don't really know where you might find potholes. So the situation of the road is very concerning. However, also what I notice is one of the major concerns with towards road accidents is mostly the way people drive. I mean, we all know that the quality of the roads are quite disturbing. That should ensure, or that should make us, you know, drive a lot more safer, control the speed limits, and kind of get to our destination safely. We want to complain about the state of the road, which, I mean, is undeniably appalling, but we would also want to call out on the civic responsibility of everyone to, you know, drive safely, just like Black Roger say, la route ne tue pas, mais c'est nous qui tuons sa peau. So at the end of the day, it is the drivers who sort of, you know, have the responsibility. If government doesn't take its responsibility to give adequate roads, it is now for drivers, you know, to take over that responsibility and drive safely.
Now, Roland, it's the holiday period. Several people are obliged to travel from one town to the other, but we have noticed that most people they are reluctant using interurban transport buses because they fear if they might get to their destinations or not. According to you, what can be done to reassure these people that you can leave from one destination to the other and you get to where you're going to safely? What can be done to bring back their confidence and ensure that they can travel or transport themselves using our highways in Cameroon and be safe? What can be done to reassure the local population?
Several people are definitely quite afraid now to use public transport, and everyone kind of turns out to praying when they're in the cars. Praying is good, you know, it's spiritual, but I believe that to every physical problem, physical solutions. If the roads are horrible, then we need to fix the road. I mean, prayers can always definitely come if you're thinking about spiritual issues. But if the roads are, you know, deplorable, the roads need to be fixed, you know, most definitely. And if the drivers also lack adequate civic education to use these roads, the drivers need to drive safely. I think that one of the solutions government can, you know, one of the measures government can take is to reintroduce civic education into the primary educational system. Once citizens are bred within a system where they understand right from wrong, good from bad, I think that as they grow up, they become more responsible citizens. I don't know if that still exists, civics. When I was in primary school, we used to have civics, but there is a necessity for civics, you know, for civic education. I'll take, for example, I was driving through Douala a few years ago. I was driving from Douala to the southwest region, and when I got to just around the outskirts of Bonaberi, getting into Bekoko, there was a traffic there that held me for over 12 hours, and so I arrived Yaoundé Boya about the next day at 2 a.m. And when I spoke with the commissioner of police, who was the one in charge and who was trying to reorganize cars and get the traffic going, he explained to me, Commissioner Ituge explained to me that the main problem was road users trying to sway out of the main road and going into the wrong places that causes traffic. So I noticed that despite the fact that Bonaberi has that very interesting, very good and appreciate roads we can appreciate, users still do not they still do not use it adequately. They still tend to want to go overboard. The road is right there, you have to follow the traffic so and so. It doesn't work. And I also noticed one thing in Cameroon: nobody respects the traffic signs. I mean, when you stand at the traffic sign, you look more like a fool than like an ordinary citizen. So there is an absolute necessity for reintroduction of civic education into our educational system to give a greater sense of responsibility to citizens.
Now, Roland, recently the government, through the Ministry of Transport, resorted to sanctioning some transport agencies by suspending them for 1 week or so. Do you think that also can be an appropriate solution to reducing the bloodshed on our highways?
Government sanctioning travel agencies, I think it's a half measure. It's a shared responsibility. Government has a responsibility to build, construct adequate, better roads, fluid roads. So just to go out and sanction the drivers, that's a distraction. It's sort of a diversion. It's sort of giving over your responsibility to another person. Certainly, the drivers. The agencies have the power to, through the two-step flow, to influence their drivers, but government has a responsibility to build the roads. So it's sort of a 60-40. I would give 60 to government for better roads, and I would give 40 to the agencies, or maybe 30, because the civic education still goes on with government. So, and also we can also use public service announcement. I mean, really serious road safety campaigns, not just the one. We appreciate those that are carried out by the Gendarmerie Nationale. But we can do something better with far more serious road safety programs, in collaboration with TV stations like yours, which are doing a lot towards fixing these issues. Such campaigns could really help in ameliorating the road traffic and accident situation in Cameroon.
Thank you so much, Roland Tifo, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Points tonight, and hope to have you some other time. Viewers, thank you so much for being with us. That does it for this edition of the news. Don't go away, our programs continue. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. That will be in about 30 minutes, and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. with Irish Ngonomala. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.